All right, man, let's just get started. How you doing?
Great. I'm doing really good. Yeah.
You're in Copenhagen?
Copenhagen, lockdown in paradise, quarantine, but still able to eat, swim, go to the beach, and enjoy the beautiful island.
It's a good place to be locked down. Have they not closed the beaches yet?
No, no, not at all. Thailand, Thailand. Bangkok is really busy, and I think they closed down a lot in Bangkok. 1 second, I need to put on the power.
Yep.
Sorry. Bangkok is a full close down. Some very touristy areas in Thailand also. Koh Phangan is a quiet island. Not many tourists at the moment. So I think every province handles the flu or the virus, however you want to call it, in a different way.
Yeah, I lived in Thailand. I lived in Phuket last year for the whole year, and
they closed down.
Yeah, my girlfriend's still there, and they closed down all the beaches, and I don't think they can leave the island. I think the air and the roads and the boats are all stopped.
Phuket, I saw a message about Phuket. Yeah, they just closed down yesterday or the day before, I think. Koh Phangan still not. Koh Samui also not. Lucky, we are lucky till now, but again, we live on the beach at the moment. I have a very small, but beautiful house on the beach here. So even if I'm locked down, I just make the positive out of everything. So then we'll find some beautiful games or whatever, and watch the sunset, sunrise, and listen to the sea.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place. I'm in rural Canada right now, which is also beautiful as well, but not quite as inviting, let's say, as the beach and the sun. Didi, you just mentioned the virus or the flu, as you said. What's your opinion on all of this?
My opinion. Oh my God. How long do we have?
As long as you want.
As long as I want. So my opinion about the virus is very clear. I'm very sorry for all the people that now are dying. I'm very sorry for all the families that now are losing their loved ones. It's terrible what is happening. But on the other hand, I'm also shocked by the amount of people that didn't give a fuck about all the people that have been dying the last decade in third world countries because of viruses, diarrhea, or or even out of hunger. They were like dying 5,000 people a day. And now the whole world, the whole Western world starts to freak out because 35,000 people have died in the last 5 months. So yes, I feel very sorry, but on the other hand, I'm also like, okay, maybe we are taught a lesson, and maybe we now understand how those people in those developing countries have been feeling for the last decade. Without even having a hospital, we are complaining of a shortage of beds and an overflow of IC. Those people don't have hospitals. They don't have healthcare. They are not even paid $1,000 a month now to keep alive. So if you look at it that way, if you zoom out, just like in crypto, sometimes you need to zoom out to see the big picture. And the big picture is that we grew into being a very selfish, egocentric population that is now taught that life can change in a split of a second, and that you feel what other families have been feeling like many years. And so I don't understand why we are freaking out like this. I don't understand, oh, that's the dog. I don't understand why the lockdowns are done. I don't understand why we are killing our economies. I don't understand that people now start to believe the media and the governments, of which they have been complaining about the last decades. We, as government and as community, we knew that we had an aging problem all over the world. And if you know you have an aging problem, you know that in a couple of years, we need more healthcare. So why have they cut down on healthcare in every country the last 10 years? Why didn't the healthcare employees get more salary? Why did they get less salary? Why did they close down like a lot of facilities? Why? You can sum up so many things that it doesn't make It doesn't make sense anymore to me. And again, I feel very sad for all the people, very sad. I feel, I could be just enjoying my life daily on the beach here, zipping my Bacardi Coke with a coconut. Instead of this, I'm working 6 hours a day, tweeting, messaging, answering people because I care.
Yeah.
I care, but I care also for people. I hope that we all learn this lesson, that if we have conquered this virus, like we have conquered all the viruses all over the world, and we have learned the lesson now, that we don't turn back into these selfish, wealth accumulating monsters and start to care about the people that are living this life for decades already.
Mm-hmm.
Why? I just, it's awful.
Yeah.
And then people I tell this, they all answer with the same answer. They all say, yeah, Didi, but the contagiousness of the virus and it can create a huge parabolic growth. And yeah, but also if the virus spreads more and more and more, we also get more immune about it. That's how we have handled and tackled viruses like since the 1900s. If there is a virus, you get it and you get immune. And some people get really sick and some people get a little bit less sick. But still, I just I don't see the logic. 150,000 people have been dying daily since the 1st of January till now. 150,000 people died daily. 14.3 million people died in the last 90 days. And now the world freaks out about 30,000 people that died in 5 months. How sad it is, it just doesn't sum up with me. For me, there is probably more behind it, or it is a huge economical crisis cover up, or it is whatever conspiracy people believe in. I'm not the most conspiracy type guy, I must be honest, but this is too obvious for me. This is so obvious that I'm baffled by the decisions that are being made. I just tweeted something. The largest condom factory of the world shut down. They produce the Durex condom.
Uh-huh.
Do people understand that we are shutting down this largest condom factory of the world for 35,000 people that have been dying the last 5 months? We shut down the biggest condom industry that prevents millions of people of being infected with AIDS, HIV, with STDs, all sicknesses where you can die of, even the flu. So why would you stop this huge industry while they are saving millions of people's lives every year? It doesn't sum up. It doesn't sum up. Sorry, I talked a lot, John. Sorry, I should have warned you before.
That's absolutely it's absolutely fine. And look, Matt, it's one of those things. It's so hard to know the truth of something like this because most people aren't virologists. They don't know how these things work. But even if they did, as you said, what is the correct response to something like this? And this dialogue has been happening on Twitter a bunch lately. And you've got the people that say, how dare you question the way things have been handled? Of course, everybody should stay home in order to save these lives. But then the other hand, people are saying, well, one, at what cost? Both what financial cost, what economic cost, because how many people will die and how much hardship will there be if economies fail all over the world and continue to experience this hardship, which they very may well do. But the other thing is at what cost in terms of liberty and freedom? At what point will you say to the power structures in society, the state and the other authority bodies, I'm not willing to continue to concede ground in giving up freedom, whether you're trying to track my movements, whether you're telling me I have to stay home, whether you're telling me I can't see this person, can't do this, can't do that. At what point do we say, and as you pointed out, of course, any loss of life is a tragedy, absolutely, anywhere in the world. But at what point do we say that our compassion for that can't allow us to give away our individual rights and freedoms? And as a result of that, that means that people all over the world are going to have to reconsider the degree of responsibility they take for themselves in reducing their risk of certain things, or in planning their life differently, or in going about interacting in the world differently, in order to be able to take that freedom and that responsibility, so that you aren't subject to every single risk or threat that comes about. And so, I know this is a much bigger conversation than is being played out in the media right now. And I don't expect we're automatically going to flip to a libertarian society, and that everyone's going to automatically take responsibility for themselves, and that's how this should be handled. And I'm not really suggesting anything, but I agree with what you said, in that, tragedy happens deaths are a part of living, right? That's just a part of being a human being in the world. And so many things threaten our survival on a daily basis. And are we going to allow those threats to limit the degree of freedom we experience as human beings? That's the question.
That's exactly the question. And you know what the answer is? At the end, we can never win the discussion. Because, this is the game they have been playing for so many years. I already can predict you what the answer and what the outcome will be. In my opinion, the outcome, if it is like really bad, if a lot of people will die, they will say, we told you, we told you. If less people will die than they projected, they will say, it's because we took the right decisions.
Yeah.
We flattened the curve. Yeah. They always is an agenda, and this agenda can play both ways for them. And for me, I can get really mad about these things, but I just figured out yesterday when I was swimming in the sea, I was like, man, Didi, just let it go. Try to do what you can, but this universe has took 13.8 billion years to develop in the way it developed. Who the fuck do I or you or whoever think that we can change this?
Right.
This is just happening. Accept it and make the best out of it. I don't think that we will have millions of people die because of this. I do know that last year 1.5 million people died of diarrhea. I do know 700,000 people died of HIV. So why would I even discuss that on social media? Why is all the mass media discussing that? There is only one reason: creating fear. Mm-hmm. People that live in fear are easy, controllable people. That's how it works. People in fear are in shock. It's the same when you sleep in your bed, you wake up at night and you see this huge spider against the wall. You will be in shock. The first 10 seconds, you don't know what to do before you come up with a plan. So, and in this time of shock, everything can happen. And I think now the world is in a huge shock wave, because nobody would have ever expected that a virus could have affected, like on this scale, all our communities, all our businesses, all that stuff. So I just.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I just decided, I'm going to go with the flow. I will see how it will develop, and I will see if people start to look strange at me because I'm the one who's not walking around with a mouthpiece. Maybe it's one of these science fiction movies where all the people come at you because you're the one without the mouthpiece. Maybe they are creating this social pressure. Maybe they are creating this social.
Well, that's definitely happening. I mean, it may be different where you are, but here, first of all, all this makes me think of the FDR quote that says, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Because I see so many people around here, with, incredibly high amounts of paranoia and fear. And that is, one, not only what I was referencing before, it's causing them to, without even a thought of, what they're giving up in order to be quote unquote safe. It doesn't, that allows them to completely avoid that question. But like you just said, I mean, it's turning citizens into police. People are and of course, the state is erecting all these channels that you can call if you see someone outside their home, or if you see a business charging more for hand sanitizer, or if you see anybody doing anything they're not supposed to be, you can call the police on them. They can be charged. They can be put in jail. They can be fined. So it's a crazy situation.
It's crazy, but I would have never expected, just like you said, I would have never expected that. So that's such a big part of humanity was already in this in this sheeple state. Let's call it like this. I thought we were with more people that were awake. You know, I thought people were awakening. I thought this is one of the reasons why even crypto Twitter and crypto community started to grow, because they wanted to disrupt and decentralize not only the monetary system but also the government and everything. And now I see those same people that were in for the revolution. I see them trusting those people again that made them decide to go into Bitcoin at the first place. So
I'm seeing that a
sadly,
lot too. I'm seeing that a lot too. But the thing is we can have these political debates on Twitter or online all we want. The fact is we need to go back to the roots of, like you just said, why we're into Bitcoin in the first place. And because we know that the system is not going to be changed by debate or by protest or by politics or anything like that. The system is only going to be changed by disrupting and disintermediating the power structure and taking the power back by means that can't be stopped. And so I think during these times, one, I think it will bring a lot more people into Bitcoin, because I think they'll see the necessity of it. They'll have a lot of time at home to watch videos and listen to podcasts and read books. But I think the best thing we can do is just continue to promote this thing and continue to make it more resilient, more easy to interact with, so that little by little we're chipping away at that system that has such a overly powerful influence over everybody. So there's no point in having these debates whether you're a libertarian or you're a Republican or you're a Democrat, do you agree with the shutdown or not, because it doesn't matter. None of that stuff is going to change it. The only thing that's going to change it is defunding it and creating an alternative system.
yeah, but that's exactly what we should be doing and focusing on as community. You know, now that's what I tell all the people in crypto. Now is the time to shine. You know,
Yeah.
now you should show people why Bitcoin is important. Because in Holland, you cannot pay with cash in the supermarkets at the moment anymore. ATM machines are often not working. And I hear more and more countries are asking their people not to pay with cash because of the virus that can be on it. So
Yeah.
this is the time and this is the moment to show people the power of this digital currency that will replace the cash. Yeah, it's just, I'm a little bit sad to see that the
Yeah.
community is not as strengthful as I thought it would be. But you know what the hell? Maybe they need it. Maybe they need to wake up a little bit more.
Yeah.
Maybe we need some more people to suffer from this whole economical crisis before that they will believe in this new system. It's really difficult at the moment.
As I'm sure you know, mate, most people don't change until it's necessary that they change, until they're forced to change, until it's required, because it seems to be our nature to desire comfort. Comfort is the thing that we seek the most, and things that cause us to be uncomfortable we'll avoid until absolutely necessary. But I agree with you, and I've said before, it's all fun and games to shit post on Twitter and talk about getting rich or number go up and revolution and all that kind of stuff, until it actually happens. And then you actually got to show if that's what you're really about or not. And as you're saying, I think a lot of people are showing that maybe they're not quite there yet.
No, I think now it shows that 80% of the community just is there to accumulate more wealth and to become filthy rich. And this is exactly not the reason why I went into Bitcoin. And this is also not what I support. I support the decentralization of this currency and disrupting this monetary system. And if Bitcoin goes up or down, at the end, now it's okay for me. I spend Bitcoin on a daily basis. So yeah, I'm sad when it goes down. Yes, I'm happy when it goes up. But in the end, this is not my goal. My goal is to eat and to live every day, and to have other people get the same luxury we have. Spend money online or wherever, or without that it can be taken, because that is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
If you see if you look into the far future now, I really believe that they are going to make people take vaccinations and all that stuff. I really believe that people that are not going to be vaccinated cannot be insured anymore and all that stuff. So I really think this is just the start of this control state that they are creating. As David Icke says it, he calls it the Hunger Games state. Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
I'm very afraid that people are not um, awakened enough, and that we will slowly turn into this kind of state. And then I hope I can find this beautiful island somewhere where there's no control of governments, and I will can sit the rest of my life just zipping coconuts and fishing, because I am definitely not going to be forced in doing one of these things.
Yeah. Yeah. The
And I think
citadel,
more and more people, yeah, I will sit it out. I will sit it
those
out.
those citadels that keep, you know, that we keep talking about in the Bitcoin community, they can't come soon enough, it seems.
Yeah,
But
yeah, it
but
is.
Didi, we kind of glossed over the intro to your background, and I think a lot of people have heard it before. So you know, but for those people that haven't, can you just give me like the brief rundown of you know, how you got to where you are today, and what the kind of you and the family story is for people that don't know?
Okay, for the people that don't know, this is then the 1,270 time I did it. I will keep it short this time. Uh, so I was a normal guy. Grew up as a normal guy. Was a soccer player all my life. Had a beautiful family. Went to school, and then during my school, finishing of my school, my mother died when she was 48 years old. You hear some sounds because the family is eating. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem, no
Uh,
problem.
and so then my mother died when she was 48, and that made me want to change life, and I couldn't cope with the feelings. So I became a workaholic, and I built up my first companies and everything, and it took 12 years, and it grew, and I became materialistic and egoistic and very selfish, and I lost the connection with myself. And at that point in 2014, my father called me with the message that he was diagnosed with cancer and had only one more year to live. So I was on top of the world at that point. I had my big house, my few cars, and all that stuff. And then you hear your father has almost only one more year to live. He was 60 years old. We went living back at my father's place as a family to take care of him, to help him. And then a year later, he dies. So needed to arrange a lot of stuff. I was struck with a huge burnout, and I decided to sell my company and to start travel the world with my family for 3 months, and to get a physical reset and physical and mental reset. And during this reset period in Thailand, my friend calls me that, do you still have your Bitcoins and your Dogecoins? Because in this accumulating wealth period, I started to mine Bitcoins in 2013. I told him, yes, but I'm on the beach, man. I don't want to think about Bitcoin or money. I'm enjoying my kids, doing all kinds of stuff on the beach, and I'm enjoying the sunset, my Bacardi Coke.
Yeah.
But in the evening, I did check, and I saw Bitcoin going up a little bit again, and I saw the community more online. I saw more forums being created. And at that point, I just told my wife, we are very, very happy what we are doing at the moment. We travel the world with 2 backpacks. We don't have luxury stuff. We are completely happy. Our kids are completely happy. What do you think about continuing this lifestyle and become a digital nomad? We just fly home. We sell everything we have. We go all in Bitcoin and continue the life what we want to live. She of course had to think about it as well. So we had a conversation more, but it took us not more than 1 week, and we flew back. And we sold our house for Bitcoins. We sold the cars for Bitcoins. We sold all the furniture for Bitcoins. We sold all the kids' toys, bikes, quads, motorbikes, everything for Bitcoins. I even took my pension fund. I took my savings. We took the kids' savings. We took all the money, and we bought Bitcoin. And then Bitcoin went up crazy. All the media flew at us because they were like, who the fuck sells everything he has for something which is multi-level marketing at that point?
Right.
So we bombed to the Bitcoin family. And meanwhile, we have been living solely with cryptocurrency for 4 years. Did about 6 documentaries now by Wall Street Journal, Channel News Asia, Arte, Vox, many more. I became a speaker about Bitcoin, blockchain, but also about mindset and life. This is what I love to do. I speak as keynote speaker on many events. We wrote a book, and we just stepped into this roller coaster called the Bitcoin life, and it took us, and we still are in for a few loopings, I think, before that we end this whole adventure. So this is the beginning of the story, and now the story just continues.
I love it, man. I remember I remember hearing about it. I think maybe in the summer or fall of 2017. Did it happen around that time? Is
Yeah,
that when
yeah,
you
it was
sold
in
everything?
2010. Yeah.
Yeah, so I remember hearing about it and thinking, one, like, damn, that's some conviction, and two, I was like, I fucking love that. That is awesome. But when you did that, you made that decision, and kudos to your wife and family for supporting that, because you know a lot wouldn't. But when you did that, and then in December the price mooned, what were the emotions at the time? Like, you know, what put like, how did you feel? You just went all in, and then 2-3 months later, you get like a 10x or more in your wealth. What'd that feel like?
uh, it felt uncomfortable
Right.
because the reason we took the step is to minimalize our lifestyle. So we wanted to
Right.
become a minimalistic family,
Yeah.
and at the same time you're bombed through the media. So as a family, you're changing from maximalist, egoistic to minimalist and sharing and caring. At the same time, the media comes to your family, so that there was a lot of changes at that point. And then at the same time, Bitcoin starts to explode, and and you get into the emotional roller coaster of Bitcoin, selling or hodling or selling, or but we made profit, and we started to share profit with NGOs and poor people all over the world, because that
Hmm.
is what we found that made us really happy to give to others as well. And so yeah, it was euphoric at one hand, because you were right, you took a good gamble, you felt,
Right.
we felt we didn't need to do it, and we did it, and it turned out okay. And on the other hand, you're still like, okay, but I still want to live in this crappy backpack place in Thailand on the beach. I don't want to buy a villa. I don't want to buy a new car.
Yeah.
So no, yeah, then you search other things to do with it. So and yeah, we also lost, of course, afterwards a few times at the drops and all that stuff, because
Right.
we were a normal family. I was not a Bitcoin professional. I was not a trading professional. I was just a normal guy with his wife and children, changing life. Um, but it all turned out really good for us, and we still love this life, and I think we will continue this life till another invention pops up, and if we feel to take that roller coaster, we will step in the other roller coaster, and this is how life goes.
Yeah. Do you still
It's
have
just
the camper van?
Yeah, we still have a camper van. It's now parked in Sofia, Bulgaria. So last year we started to drive around the world. We wanted to drive around the world. That was the goal, and to pick up money in the rich countries and divide it in the poor countries. That was the sharing is caring tour. And we
Cool.
started it, and it took 4 or 5 months till we came into Bulgaria. And as a family, we just felt that we needed to take like a break of 2 months, because we've been driving like 30,000 kilometers, speaking all over the world, and flying to Las Vegas, and then in Barcelona, and then in Paris, and then in Turkey, and so it was a busy 6 months. So we just said, let's take a break for 2 months. We fly back, and we'll see what happens then again, and we drive further. Yeah, and in these 2 months, this Corona flu thing starts, and so again, you can plan whatever you want. It will change.
Right.
So now we just accept this, and we just live the life here, and we make the best of it here. I'm building a really cool crypto community here, and we started the House of DAO with a few guys, which is really becoming very interested. The House of DAO is a digital nomad co-working, co-living space. And what we want to do here is we want to make Kopangan a blockchain crypto community where startups, programmers, commercial people just come together, live for a few months, and create beautiful dApps that will help to improve the world, the ecology, the life, and all the stuff around it. And it's called House of DAO, and I'm really excited about it. And this is what I'm doing now. So it turned again into this new adventure. And I love it. I love to participate in the thing, and to create projects that can really do good for the whole world.
That's awesome, man. Good for you. I was listening to a few other podcasts that you were on in preparation for this, and there was a couple of things that stuck out where I was like, man, we're very similar on a couple of these things. One, in summer of 2018, I bought a motorhome and I traveled around Europe as well. And my idea was, it wasn't Bitcoin focused. you know, but my idea was just, I want to connect with interesting people and I want to sit down and record conversations with them. And then when I found out, you know, you decided that what your family was doing, I thought that was interesting. And then when you said, I think you were on the beach in Seminyak in Bali when your friend called you about Bitcoin for
Yeah.
the second time, right? And I had learned about Bitcoin, but my first interaction with Bitcoin was in Bali as well, because in Seminyak, at the top of, like on the corner of the main road and one of the roads that goes down to the beaches, is a Bitcoin like store where
Yeah.
they would set you up with, you know, you could buy Bitcoin, they'd set you up with a wallet, all that kind of stuff. Did you see that place?
Yeah, I know that place. Yeah, I know that place. Yeah, been there.
Yeah. And then
If,
the third thing is, I've heard you talk about ayahuasca before, and you know, psychedelics have been a huge part of my development and a huge aspect of my intellectual curiosity for the last 15 years or so. And in fact, during my trip in Europe in 2018, one of the stops was in Prague during the Beyond Psychedelics conference, so I could interview a lot of the people that were there. I see a lot of overlap and similarities between, you know, Bitcoin and the psychedelic phenomenon. You know, too many to get into, but one I think is the one that stands out the most to me. Or two, one, so incredibly transformative. That's, you know, they both have that element. And then the other element is that most people in society have such the degree to which their perception is wrong about the thing is so vast, you know. So I think there's a huge misperception about Bitcoin by most people that aren't, you know, involved in it. And I think there's a huge misperception about what psychedelics are, but it's changing very rapidly, and more people are just starting to ask in both domains, what is this stuff all about? Why are these people interested in it? Like, why are they so passionate about it? So I just wanted to ask you what your you know, interest and experience has been with, I think you talked about ayahuasca before, but
yeah.
psychedelics in general. Why is it something meaningful to you?
Oh my God, yeah, that's a very good question. You know, if you're stuck in the normal life, and like let's say, like, if you're stuck in running the hamster wheel 24/7, you have never time to sit down and to think about life or think about yourself. And then the closest most people get is doing yoga and meditation. You know, and then um, you get quiet and you can let some ideas pop up. And but if you run the hamster wheel as hard as I've been running it, I needed ayahuasca to escape from the real life and to see really what was happening. You know, the first time I took it because I lost my mother and I couldn't cope with those feelings. So I ran into this very on a very strange way when I was at a festival with my wife. It started raining, and because of the rain, I went into this theater, and in this theater they showed a movie about iboga. And
Right.
iboga, the movie was called Sick Birds Die Easy. And that made me curious. And the week after, I was in my house, and this guy comes to polish the floor, and he tells me, "Wow, I had such a beautiful experience as ayahuasca." So I told him, "Is this the same as iboga?" He said, "No, iboga is the manly kind, and ayahuasca is the friendly grandma." I said, "Hook me up. I want to do it. I want to try it. I want to see what it does." You know, I was an experimental guy, and so that why not? And then I did it the first time, and that was really mind blowing for me to see how the world is connected, how people are connected, how the whole universe is connected, but also all the insights I got because of ayahuasca. And I'm not saying it's a miracle, but I'm saying it's all stuff that's stuck in your head and that's
Mm-hmm.
or in your guts, and that doesn't come up because of all the blockades you always have. And that comes out with ayahuasca, and that gives you a lot of insights in life, in your own life, and in the world. And for me, it was like, wow, what is this? How can everything be so clear after a cup of tea and sleep and sleeping? You know, I never needed to vomit. I'm more a
Oh,
shit guy,
wow.
so I need to go to the
Wow.
toilet 2 times every session. But that was not to vomit. That was more
That's
to give
unique.
message.
That's unique not to ever vomit.
No, and I really liked it, and I did it a few times, and I did many more things. I think it brings you closer to a state we are not able to reach when we are just living life, you know, because
Mm.
your head is full, your agenda is full, and yeah, we are so. I think humanity has created such a distance from the inner self that they now need a tool to get reconnected to the inner self again a little bit. And I
Yeah.
think ayahuasca is a beautiful product, but I believe all products from nature are good for this. Yeah, also weed, everything what nature gives us is good. So why 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 do you think it's forbidden? We can't feel good. We can't be creative.
Yeah, I agree that just the process of growing up and living in the world has probably cut us off from a lot of aspects of ourselves that we lose or we become unfamiliar with. And I think these substances and these experiences can take down the wall of your identity for a period of time, enough so that you can get to the core of things. And that can be very unsettling, obviously, for some people, or for most people at the beginning of this. But as you learn to let go in order to go deeper and discover further, then as you said, the insights, the connection, the peace that can be derived from that experience is ineffable,
Yeah,
impossible to articulate.
it's you can't explain. People ask me, please explain it. So at that point, I registered the domain ayahuascaforall.com. It's still mine, and I put the
Ah,
information about ayahuasca on this one. And um, you know, it's just something you can't explain. You just need to do it. It's how do you feel? How do you explain to somebody how it feels to be very drunk? It's difficult. You know, it's difficult to give an emotional to explain an emotional feeling.
yeah.
Um, but that is what it does with your mind.
Well,
You
it's
know, with the
like,
drug.
yeah, well, and I saw on your Twitter profile that your location is Earth or the Matrix. And to pull a quote from the Matrix, nobody can tell you what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself. It's kind of one of those things.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I still have it on, and I still don't understand what it is or which one it is. Maybe 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 we see this as life. Maybe this is a dream, and maybe when we die we wake up. You don't know. You don't know.
It's a great mystery. It's a
Yeah,
great mystery.
it's beautiful to have this mystery.
Yeah. So Didi, what's you mentioned the co-working space that you're currently working on while you're in isolation. Any other projects or things that you think you're unique, because of the name recognition and publicity you've gotten, and because of your situation? Is there anything that you're finding that you need to devote your time to next, or that you're in terms of what's most meaningful for you to try to push forward?
That at the moment I'm focusing on building communities. So Blockchain Valley and Sofia in Bulgaria is one of them as well. And I just like the world to be, if we have like same-minded people living in communities that want to create new decentral apps to improve the world, then I think in the whole you can grow a huge amount of people that that stay connected with each other. So for example, now I'm in Copenhagen. I want to stay here for a few months, and I want to build a project, or I want to support somebody else companies that's building a project. I stay here for a few months. Then I go to Bulgaria. There's Blockchain Valley, where I can speak to same-minded people like you and me, not only blockchain and Bitcoin, but also about life and about the whole mind, body, and soul stuff. And you connect there again with people, and you build and help each other. You exchange value in a different way than just with physical cash or money. You exchange knowledge. And if you can build these kinds of communities all over the world, you kind of create Silicon Valley, but then largely, and you connect people all over the world that can decentralize their lifestyles by traveling from one spot to the other one. Because let's be honest, I think in 5 years' time, maybe 20% of the world will be digital nomads. We're working from home, working online, or you're an entrepreneur. So we need communities where these people can really focus on working, but also on enjoying life. And I think to connect all those people, it's beautiful that I can support House of Dao here, but also blockchain valley in Bulgaria, and I'm just look forward to find more of these projects that are doing this. And at the same time, I try to support a lot of projects that make it possible, that simplify the use of Bitcoin. So there's one project, light.am, I'm a supporter of, an advisor of, and they make it possible you send and receive Bitcoin by using Facebook Messenger or Telegram. So you have this wallet there where your private keys are locked in, so nobody can touch your wallet. So, and you can, everybody that has Facebook or an email address or a telephone number can just send and transact and buy and sell Bitcoins or Litecoins or Ethereum. So I just live this crypto life. I just try to support as much as possible projects and try to balance this with living a beautiful life with my family.
Yeah. And speaking of your family, and it looks like a beautiful life when I go to your website and I see some of the photos and stuff. I'm sure, like any life and like any family, there's ups and there's downs and there's struggles and there's things that we don't see through the lens of Instagram and stuff like that. But, particularly you have 3 daughters, right?
Yeah.
How what are their thoughts? I'm sure they think, I'm sure they know this is a very unique life, but how are their thoughts as this goes on and progresses? How do they feel about all this?
I don't know how they exactly feel. You're right. It's a family life. Kids are happy sometimes and not happy sometimes. It's the same as they would be at home. So this digital nomad life doesn't make it easier. It makes it, I think, even more complicated. Right. My oldest daughter stands now across me. She's 14. Come show your face. She has other struggles, social struggles. She wants to find friends everywhere, her age. There are not a lot of families traveling with kids of our age. But it's just like a normal life, only traveling. And if you have problems internally in the family, it's just a little bit more easy when you are on the beach or watch a palm tree or you're able to go into the sea. Right. It's more easier. Education of the kids, we homeschool them, and at the same time they do an online school, which is really cool. I got to know this school. It's called Galileo. I got to know them in Mallorca when I was speaking there, and this is an amazing project. Kids are able to just sit down and say, okay, I want to learn this month. I want to learn the mathematics, Indonesian language, star signs, programming. And then every day they check in for 30 minutes with a teacher through a Zoom call with all classmates all over the world. And this teacher just guides them through what they want to do. You can use this app or you can use this website for it. And have you done your stuff? Did you do your homework? And they do presentations once a week and all that stuff. And so really cool to see that like homeschooling gets a new level. And I think this is one of the examples of what Corona is also teaching us, because every kid now in Holland is being homeschooled. And I already see parents tweeting and putting messages of, wow, my kids is just way more happy at the moment, and it's excited to do school. And so this is what we do. And also there, the kids are the same as at home. I don't want to do it today. I don't want to do it now. I don't want to do a presentation. And we just face the same problems we have in a normal life. I just feel luxury that we and happy that we are able to do it on the beach.
I think that's that's awesome. I love that. That's what you're saying. I think that's a silver lining with the coronavirus, is that with all this, the ways people are having to reorganize their life in order to just accommodate being at home, a lot of people are going to see like, hey, wait a sec, my kids are more engaged. They are able to choose what they learn. They're happier, so I think a lot of change will come out of this. I mean, some good and some bad, of course, but you gotta look at the positive side of things. And I think that's going to be one of them.
That is one of them. Another one is that people really maybe start to connect again with their families. Right. A lot of people will divorce as well. We will have a baby boom, but also a divorce boom, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
But for the ones that don't divorce, they will understand again, wow, how beautiful is it to just be at home, do your work online, and be connected to your family again, to see your kids really grow up, which is also very important. That's why you chose to have kids, probably.
100%.
So these are the lessons we need to learn.
I totally agree. Didi, I usually finish off the show with a few rapid fire questions. Do you have time to answer those?
Yeah, cool, do it.
Yeah. So the first part is you can answer them as long as or short as you want, and you can say pass if you like. And then the last part is just a couple of word associations. So we'll get it kicked off. The first one is, what is money? How do you define money?
Money is an exchange of value, a lot of people in the world believe in, but which is the biggest scam ever.
If you had to explain Bitcoin to a 10-year-old, what would you say? I guess you've done this, so.
That is real peer-to-peer digital cash money that nobody can ever take from you.
What does Bitcoin success or Bitcoin succeeding look like to you?
Mass adoption all over the world, children of 5 years old exchanging their allowance with poor African kids that don't have the possibility of having a bank account, but do have a possibility of having a telephone or whatever.
What's one piece of advice you'd give to someone who's just entering this whole space, just starting to learn about all of this?
One piece of advice would be step into this industry because you believe in the evolution of technology, the evolution of money, and not to become filthy rich of it.
What's one movie or song that you think is most related to Bitcoin?
Bob Marley, redemption song. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds.
Love it. Can Bitcoin be stopped? If so, what is Bitcoin's biggest vulnerability? If not, why not?
I don't think Bitcoin can ever be stopped.
What is something you don't understand very well about Bitcoin or you'd like to study more about or study more on?
I would love to study more in what way people think that Bitcoin is becoming less decentral because of the mining, the centralization of the big miners. I would love to investigate if this is really true, because I don't really believe this is happening.
What have you learned about yourself, or how have you changed, if at all, as a result of learning about and interacting with Bitcoin?
I think I started to understand the real value of life because of Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin showed me that no matter if you're like, I'm all in Bitcoin, and no matter Bitcoin goes up or goes down, I'm still the same person. I still see the same birds, to see my wife, my children. So I learned that money shouldn't influence your happiness.
Right. Ballpark estimate of Bitcoin's price in 5 years' time.
Wow, 5 years' time. I hope it will be 1 million, but I believe it will, in 5 years' time, it will be about 200K.
What's one question that you'd like to see added to this list, or you'd like to see, excuse me, other Bitcoiners or people in the space answer?
I would love to ask other people in this space, why are you changing from a community that was supporting this revolution of disrupting the monetary system into a community that is very egocentric and just focused on accumulating wealth?
Okay, last section. So I'll just say a word. You tell me the first thing that pops into your head.
That's going to be very funny, I think.
Democracy.
Sorry?
Democracy.
Non-existent.
The Lightning Network.
Needs to be proven.
Government.
I don't like it.
Human rights.
Mm, love it, and needs to be decentralized.
Violence.
Terrible.
Trump.
Who?
Trump.
Grab him by the pussy.
Ego.
Sorry?
Ego.
The thing I lost.
FOMO.
Life.
Wealth.
Not important. Overvalued. How do you say it in English?
Yeah, that works. Privacy.
Really important.
Hate speech.
Freedom of speech.
Gold.
Mars.
Guns.
Love.
Revolution.
Solution.
Socialism.
Admire.
Family.
Number one.
Inequality.
Sorry?
Inequality.
Inequality needs to disappear.
Hell, as in heaven and hell.
Hell. Curious.
Liberty.
The goal in life.
Energy.
One world.
And Bitcoin.
The disruption of the monetary system.
Didi, first of all, thanks for doing this, man. I really appreciate it. And I just have a ton of respect for, the balls it took to, set out on the journey you set out on. And in particular, because you brought your family along with you, and just, the work that's required to do that and make it work, and the life that you've constructed for your family. Got a ton of respect for you, man. So, thank you for doing what you do. Is there anywhere that you want to direct people to learn more about you or what you're up to?
No, not at all. If you want to follow us, just Google the Bitcoin family, or go to our Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or just write us. We have all our things are public, and we love to communicate with you guys and help you with everything. If it's setting up Bitcoin, or it is changing your life into this digital normal life. We have done it for 4 years, and I think we know how it works. So if you need help, contact me or buy our book. Oh, I need to chill our book. Oh shit, Didi, you need to be commercial a little more. We have a book. You need to buy the book. All the secrets are in this book.
What's it called? I forget the name.
The book is called as well, The Bitcoin Family. It is out in Dutch and in German, and soon in English as well. It's also on Audible, so it's but English will take another 2 weeks, I think, before it will be out. And the second book I'm writing at the moment. The first book is about how we change life, and how some quotes can help you with living a new life. Like, for example, fear will kill all your dreams. We think if you live in fear, you will never follow your dreams.
Yeah, good advice. So when do you think that book will be out?
And the second book will be the English book in 2 weeks, and the second book will take
that'll be on
year.
Amazon. The English one will be on Amazon.
Yeah, also on Amazon. Yeah, the German one is already on Amazon, and the Dutch one as well. But the English one, took some time to get a good translation.
Awesome. Well, look, man, I'll let you get back to your family and dinner and all that good stuff over there in Copenhagen.
Cold dinner.
Nice.
Cold dinner.
Thai food?
Yeah, the restaurants only do takeaway at the moment because of the lockdown. So yeah, it's Thai food. Yeah.
I'm jealous, man. I love the food over there.
Spicy and delicious.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, listen, thank you again. Be well. And I look forward to connecting at some point in the future.
Cool. You're welcome. And thank you for having me on the show. See you.
All right, brother. Take care.
Bye.